Sorry guys. I'm realizing that I may start needing to get glasses. Because, yeah, I'm like squinting and yeah. So welcome everyone to the W.O.W conference. It is so good to be here. Thank you Tabitha for the opportunity. W.O.W has been going on for 5 years, as most of you have known it. I was at the first conference, and it's been a good pleasure to be able to assist in the little ways that I can to help W.O.W succeed. And Tabitha has been, and her group has been doing a great job bringing women together to be able to just have conversation and talk in an essence. So it's great hearing from the speakers from before. I think all of them touched my heart in so many different ways. Just to give you a little bit of history of myself, I go to Victory Assemblies of God, and I know Tabitha through there. I got married at the age of 20, so not too far from 21. I have been married to now for 20 years. I have 3 children. My oldest is 18, and he is a freshman in college, so it's very interesting. Joyce and I have conversations over that very frequently. My middle is 16, and she's here somewhere in the middle, trying to probably hide, because she asked me not to call her out. And my little one is flying around here. She's 8 years old. Yep, she's present, as always. There she is. But my life as a career woman is what I'm going to focus on a lot today. Mainly because I felt that, or I feel that this is where I got an opportunity to grow as an individual. Being married at the age of 20 was not something that I planned to do. It was something that I had to do in an essence. Not being forced into marriage, but being forced out of my house in an essence. So being forced out of my house by my parents, my husband, my fiancé, I guess you could call it, I don't even know, I don't remember the proposal, but, but he took me in, and within a week we were married. So it was not something that I wanted to do at a very young age, but I always thought in the back of my head, wouldn't it be great to have a family early? So it was always a desire, but not something that we planned for. Our wedding and our relationship was not something that my parents accepted 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we didn't ever think about dating, especially in New York. I mean, everything was hidden. Yeah, got some New York people down here. But really, everything is hidden. No one really wanted to talk about it. And when we did talk to our parents, it wasn't something that they wanted to agree to at that point. So falling into this particular predicament, 20 years old is still pretty young. I mean, at that point, I was just in my first semester of college. I walked out with a backpack with only my college books, because I was in the middle of finals when this all happened. And finished off my finals, and then a week later, I was married. And then after marriage, things took a little bit turn for the worse in an essence. We lived in a very small, community in an essence, so everybody knew each other. Of course, this was news to everyone at that point. So everything's flying around, people are talking. My husband's family worked at the same hospital as my parents, so it became very difficult for them to even have a workplace relationship as well. So at that point, we decided to move to Dallas. Dallas seemed very far away from New York and from all of our problems. So my husband had an uncle here, and we moved down here and started, they helped us, we lived with them for a little bit. And then eventually, I don't know, maybe it was our convincing or our loneliness, we started calling our his brother and family and say, hey, come down, this is a great place to be. It's not all, cowboys and Indians, and it's not, carriage rides or anything. It's a little bit different, there's more space, come down. So eventually our family did move, his family moved from New York to Dallas, and we've been here ever since. So it took a while for them to come down, so loneliness maybe. Loneliness led to marriage, loneliness led to us having our first child. So we had Jonathan by the age of 21, and here I am, married at 20, had a child by 21, and goodness gracious, what do I do with myself, I left my first year of college, I don't have a degree yet. did, small work here and there in regards to, I didn't know about call centers. Call centers was apparently a big thing down here. So I started myself as a customer service rep, and I was like, man, this is difficult. I can't be doing this for a long time. So eventually, while Jonathan was growing, he was probably 1 year old when I started back on college again and started finishing up my degree. Totally different aspect of what I wanted to do in New York. Speech therapy was something that I was pursuing in New York, but didn't end up doing anything in regards to that. I started realizing that my passion, so now I have this opportunity to not have this pressure over my head of what my parents wanted me to be. Of course, everyone's parents, I know most of you in here probably their parents wanted you to be, or your parents wanted you to be somewhere in the medical field, right? Pharmacist, doctor, engineer, something of that essence, right? But now more parents are being liberal, they're saying whatever your heart desire is, have a career, But that's what I'm hearing nowadays, or that's what I'm giving my kids the option to. But, at that point I started to realize, well, what does Sheeba really want, 21 years old, have a child, and what do you really want to pursue? So having conversations with, people and just I'm a very observant person. I sit back and look at people and watch people, and I finally realized that I like observing people. I like just watching what they do and seeing that their behavior will react to something. And then I started realizing, well, I could talk to these folks too. So then my conversations with the individuals or conversations with people started just moving my heart, saying like, I think I'm a people person. So eventually I started saying, well, how can I get to be where I can do this as a career? Someone mentioned that today. I think someone was talking about being a dietitian. How do you pursue a passion that you like, but still get paid for it, right? You still have diapers and formula to consider at this point, right? So, and that is where I started working with CVS. So most of you know I've been with CVS for about 19 years now. So all of the things that happened to me happened within a small period of time. So I have a long longevity with everything. I've been married for 20 years. Jonathan is 19 years old. I've been with CVS for 19 years. So everything happened around that one time. So it was a lot for me to handle, but now in retrospect, I'm thinking about this. I think God was grooming me to be something different, and He helped me, had some sort of stability to be able to grow in this essence. So CVS is where I started. Of course, they were in CVS back then. It was called something different. I'm not going to tell you the whole history about my company, but CVS Health is who I work for right now, and they have really groomed me and have taken the passion that I have and have made me to what I love, enjoy, and enjoy doing. I love getting out of bed and going into work, or whether it be a work from home day. Now that we got those, I'm so excited. 2 days work from home is amazing. 2 days away from the office, but 3 days at the office. But the 3 days at the office, if you love pulling those blankets off of you on a cold day and still be able to want to go into a workplace and talk to individuals, then you're really at the right spot. You really have synced into what makes you move in your passion in an essence. So currently, I started off there as a customer service rep. I took phone calls for patients wanting to order prescriptions from our mail order facility, and talking about their copay problems and that they can't afford it. And then I got to learning and understanding how to deal with different personalities. If you call from the east side, all they want to do is fill their prescription and move on because they got better things to do than stay on the phone, right? If you're calling from the south side, you got to give them the southern love and tell them about the weather and the cooking and all of that sort of love stuff. So I started to learn a lot of different things about personality. So this is really truly where I was getting my schooling. So hence you can see why I'm really dedicated to this company, because they've taught me a lot of different things. So I continue to grow within this company, and then eventually now my current position is a senior manager of our IT area. God knows how I got into IT, only He knows, right? I don't know how I got into this area, but I got into this particular area, and I find that it's a cross-function of so many different things. I mean, you got production people that need assistance. You got the back-end IT system, and then guess what? All of these people need something. And that's what I love to do. And I got to take care of everything that needs to happen for CBS, right? But then I found my mission field here. Every one of them, from Indians to African Americans to Hispanics to all sorts of different people that I come and encounter with, I started realizing this is my mission field. Why? I don't need to go outside. I have a group of 100 people that are in front of me that really would love to have some sort of conversation that makes them feel better about themselves. And that is where I started realizing that this is actually my call. This is why I get up in the morning on a cold day, pull out the blanket, and want to go into the office. So in one of the other conferences that I've done before, I think it was at ICPF camp, I kind of talked about our company's core values. Their core values is innovation, collaboration, caring, and accountability. Now, not only because I grew up here in essence, not only do I use this for company functions and company-related conversations, but I started using this in my personal life into the individual's personal life. So I tell them about accountability. You are wise and have a discerning mind. So there's none has been before you, and none like you that shall rise after you. This is from 1 Kings 3:12. That's innovation. Collaboration. Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. That's from Proverbs 27:17. Caring. Philippians 2:4. Do not merely look out for your own personal interest, but also for the interest of others. Integrity, Proverbs 21:3. To do what is right and just is more acceptable in the Lord than sacrifice. Accountability, Romans 14:12. So then each of us will give an account to himself to God. So I started really taking the core values of CBS and started going biblically on it. And then slowly but surely I started taking the biblical factor of it and started feeding it to my employees. And in essence, they didn't know. They did not know that that's what I was doing. But in essence, I started to feel that they were opening up to a point where I started seeing different aspects of them. So they were no longer employees just doing the factor. And of course, you got to keep that line, right? They do the work that they need to do, but then there's another aspect. They say, Sheeba, can I come talk to you? I have something that I need to, that I'm dealing with, and I think you may be able to help me with that. Sure, why not? Open door policy, right? That's for both aspects, right? Come on in, have a conversation with me. So that's where I started to see that the mission started working. So when I started thinking about what would I speak to you guys about in this particular conference, as I told God, I know I'm not a procrastinator because I plan almost every single thing in my life, and I think Joyce, you were saying you had a calendar of check off things that needs to get done. Yes, ditto. I have a big old binder that's in my bag, which is very heavy, and it has everything that needs to get done, right? So then I think to myself, we are so busy all the time, and I don't think it ever is going to get any better. If we're looking to be unbusy, just forget about that fact. It's never going to happen. So just address the fact that we will be busy, right? Address the fact that we will have a multitude of different things to do, especially as women. We take on a lot more responsibilities. So I have to say, my husband has taken on a lot of responsibilities as well at the household. I truly love him for partnering with me. He's the best, and I just have to give kudos to him in regards to that. But let's get out of the false concept that we will never be busy. Okay, so once we address that we won't be busy, how do you make sure that you can do ministry in the career that you're in? And this is the thought that God put into my head Friday night. I told Tabitha, I'm sorry, I'm going to be late Saturday morning because I gotta work around what God just gave me, So He told me, be present in the here and now. So be present in the here and now. There's a verse in the Bible that says, be still and know that I am God. So He's just telling us, be present. That is all that He's asking us to do in the here and now. But I think in the environment that we grow up in, we kind of like, okay, I'm a multitasker, oh my God, I don't know what it is by what, but I have to be multitasking. I'm a mother of three vast different ages. I am a youth director at my church. I have 100 employees that we probably have one thing or another going on a system that could go down at any point in the night. I carry 2 phones on me. So there's a lot of different things, and we're just always inundated with all of this stuff, right? So when God tells me, be present in the here and now, I'm like, are you going to teach me a lesson while I put this together? And I'm like, you're probably doing this, because God is funny sometimes, I think someone mentioned that today. He is very funny. He does give you things that tells us, even the person that is trying to prepare it, that there's a lesson in here for you too. So with all of the high-tech things that we have, we got a tablet, this computer turns into a tablet, plus it's a laptop, multitasking, great tool, right? I got another tablet in my purse, I got 2 phones that I was telling you about. With all of this media stuff, it's kind of interesting how we could always multitask. We could never, you're given all the tools to multitask. It's almost like you're omnipresent in everything, right? So then I started thinking, wow, there's probably a lot of different things in here. I started reading blogs last night. And this gentleman said it so good. His name is Tom Stewart. He has a blog called Ignited to Pray Ministries. That's his blog. He says it so perfectly. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to use some of his stuff. So I'm going to have to give him kudos for some of this stuff. So omnipresent is not what we are. It's what God is. So we were not meant to always multitask. We're not even meant to multitask in an essence, because you can't be here and now in the present or be present in the here and now if we're multitasking. We could be here, physically, right? But ask my daughter, or as a boss, I can know an employee's there, but they're really not there. I mean, if I look at their work and their quality is declining and their productivity is declining, something is wrong with that employee. He's not producing the same fact that he would normally produce. If I'm working on my laptop and my 7-year-old comes over, sorry, she's 8. Yeah, you're looking at me, I know. She's 8 years old. If she comes and tells me her story of what happened in school, and I'm multitasking on my computer, and I'm showing her, yeah, I'm listening, but I gotta type this. But really, am I listening? Am I there? Am I at that point? No, we're not, right? So that's what we need to really understand. You have to be present in the here and now to really, truly be that person, or that, be the person that you can be, to be the hands and feet of Christ in the spot that you're in. So there's going to be 8 things that he called out, and I loved all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and call those out in an essence. There's 8 things that he says that will help you be focused on this, or help you understand this. Number 1, be focused. Don't do all of this multitasking thing. Yes, we got the tools to do everything that we need to do. But if something is in front of you, you're here and at that point. You're there. You're meant to be there for some reason. So be focused. It says in the Bible, set our minds on things above, right? Hebrews 3:1 and Colossians 3:2, which says, be steadfast of mind, which means you gotta be focused on the thing that you're about to do. If I'm gonna listen to my 8-year-old who's gonna tell me about the wonderful time that she had in school, the horrible day that she had in school, I have to be focused. If I'm going to listen to the employee whose productivity declined, something is wrong there. So you got to be focused on that and have that conversation with them. Like, I'm here. It's you and I. Let's talk about why this is happening. Number 2, be watchful. So the Bible has all stories about being watchful, right? The maidens that were watchful. And it says in here, keep a watch. Be watchful. Paul talks about it all the time. So you got to be aware of your surroundings. And now a lot of us, we kind of be tunnel visions, and we're like, okay, I got things to do. I got, just this thing. It's an in and out thing. I'm in the store and out the store. I got 10 items to do. I'm going to do 10 items, and that's it. But you got to be very watchful of your environment, whether in your workplace or in your home environment or your church environment. There's something there that is going to help you discern that there's something wrong with a person. And that is how you become the hands and feet of God. When you have that discernment that something is not right. I believe I talked to someone at church last Sunday, and I said, I'm sitting, some churches have, I don't call it assigned seating, but that's where you usually sit all the time, right? So So I sit up in the front of the church, but I get this vibe that hits me from the back, in an essence, and I watched the person's personality and their movement for a second, and I knew immediately that there was something wrong. Immediately that person was, going through something. So you got to be watchful of what is happening, because you will get that sense of discernment that you're needed. You're the hands and feet of Christ. You're needed. It could be one word, it could be two words, but you're needed. And that's what you have to be very watchful. Be content. Be content with your present. I know when we're not going through the happiest of all days, sometimes we're not content. But be content in that, because you have heard a sad news, and being able to share that sad news with somebody encouraged and uplifted someone else. So you got to be content with the situation that you're in, or the feelings that you're in. So be content and be watchful and be focused. Be faithful. Be thankful for all the situations, all the places that you're being put at. It could be very uncomfortable, or it could be most comfortable, whatever it is. Just be comfortable in those areas. Be thankful. Be prayerful. So when Joyce talked about being a prayer is the first thing. But if you're not prayerful, then you won't know what's going to go on. Be strong, be loving, and believe. So that's be focused, be watchful, be content, be prayerful, be thankful, be strong, be loving, and believe. So 8 things that really truly that you could become the hands and feet of God. And these are simple things. You just have to be focused on those particular items. So I'm going to end with one story. So it's at 8:30 in the morning. We have a staff meeting. And I'm one of the senior managers. I have a peer. He's in Colorado. He's a work from home. He's so lucky, but he works from home all the time. And so the two of us have to put on a call every other week, and we have a certain set of things that we discuss. So he discussed testing aspect. I discuss how to make it. I make it. He tests it. That's basically our world. So it's supposed to be a 45-minute meeting, but all of us, it's like roll out of bed or drive in from traffic, and you're getting on your laptop and you have to conduct this meeting. So I told him, I'm going to take 15 minutes, you take 15 minutes, we'll wrap it up and give a roundup for the last 15 minutes of house rule, things that we need to remember for the week, and we close in 45 minutes. Great, we had a plan. My 15 minutes, I did it. I was on point. This, and this needs to get configured this weekend. During the week, if we have weekend work, you're good to go. I'm going to turn it over to James, who's going to talk about the testing aspect. The dude goes for 45 minutes. And he just goes, and he loves stats. He just pulls all these PowerPoints from God knows where, and he just goes and goes. And I just felt like, what's going on with him? Why is he just going forever? So this actually, he does work from home, but he was visiting the office in Dallas. So he was at the hotel room doing his presentation before he came in. So the call ends, and 10 minutes later, he's driving in from the hotel room. He comes into my office and he said, Sheeba, I messed that up. Let me tell you what happened. I'm away from home. I went drinking yesterday, and I'm hungover, and I messed that thing up. I truly apologize. And I said, James, I'm glad that you admitted that you have a problem, because that call went on for an hour and a half, and it shouldn't have. We delayed production because you went on. I'm glad that you admitted it, but I'm your friend, and I'm also a Christian. Can I pray for you? And I prayed for James that day, and it was a 10-minute prayer, and I don't know what got into me. I would say the Spirit. There was no liquor in me. There was the Spirit in me. I prayed for 10 minutes for him. I held his shoulders and I prayed for him, and I said, James, I know that you don't have the power to stop yourself, because if you drunk yourself, if he's been drinking this long, and he's a long-time drinker, it's going to be hard to wean you up. There are programs that could help you. Let me show you this path. And he said, she could just pray. So I prayed, and by the end of that, he says, I feel so much better. I feel the Spirit of God over me. And I said, James, are you a Christian? And he said, Sheeba, I'm a PK. And I was like, wow, James, that's something new to me. I did not know that about you. James went back home that weekend. He told his wife about the prayer. He told his wife that he's going to stop drinking. And then here he is. This was in August, and it's December now. So about 5-6 months later, he has not taken another sip after that prayer. So be here and be present in the here and now. And that would help you be the hands and feet of Jesus in your workplace and your career. Thank you.